Nothing. There, of course, there you go. Dude, we waited around for a whole minute, dude. Come on.
It takes a little bit to load, Patrick. You know how it goes.
No, man, no anything pops up just like that.
You know what? Look, we'll just have you just talk, and it'll start real quick.
And then it'll start does it every time. I said there was quiet for the whole time, and then I put my mouth, and sure enough.
Well, it is time to breathe again on the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube and Facebook via StreamYard. And you see us back together. So it's me, Charles. I got Patrick back with me, and it's good to be back after a week of just trying to get some things together in life, in the career. More on that in a minute. Well, maybe. But for now, we have draft stuff to talk about, Patrick. So you got the NFL draft. It's starting on Thursday. It is a 3-day event, of course, with the first round being Thursday, second and third round on Friday, and then rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. So I will just ask the question, what are you looking forward to more? And we'll get more specific with the things in a minute, but besides seeing what your team is going to do and what my team's going to do, what else are you looking at in terms of what I guess you're looking for in terms of the draft?
Well, I mean, it's the draft, and you're always hoping that the teams draft to their weaknesses. Yeah, and what I mean by that is picking up what they need to have a successful season. Because you're going to have a lot of trades throughout the draft, and you got some, you had some huge trades that happen, before the draft with how are you going to set your team up going into the draft? Like, how the Rams went and got Matthew Stafford and started setting their team up to find out what they need moving forward for the draft. So the two biggest things I'm looking for is, one, hoping my team does not screw themselves by drafting what they don't need and going for something that, like a quarterback. Like, we don't need a quarterback.
We'll talk about. We'll save a little segment for your team and my team. So because we're going to.
But it's just what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that my team does not go draft a quarterback, because even though I don't think we're going to win with Matt Ryan, there's nobody better. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping my team doesn't screw themselves and pick up a quarterback when what they really need to do is trade Julio Jones and go get Devonta Smith. Personal opinion, but Falcons. Listen, what I'm saying. And then just hoping everybody drafts to their weaknesses. I mean, I like competitive games, but don't waste your money. It kills me when you watch a businessman just waste money because they need another quarterback when they got 3 of them on their roster. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
I want mutiny. I want chaos. Look, I want Jacksonville to take a punter with the first overall pick. I want the Jets to draft Justin Fields, because everybody thinks they're gonna take Zach Wilson, which I don't know why Zach Wilson got up there. More on that in a minute. I want us at number 3 to take Kyle Pitts. I want mutiny. I want no quarterbacks drafted in the first 5 picks.
Dude, my personal, I hope not one quarterback gets drafted in the first round.
Yeah, because they're not that good.
None of them are good.
They're not that great. They are way overrated because they played a position, and now it has gotten to the point where if you don't take a quarterback with your first 5 picks, then you're stupid. You're dumb. You don't know what you're doing. Why would you be there and not take a quarterback? Well, it's because it's about team building, not necessarily trying to get this quarterback. Build the team, and then you could think about getting this quarterback. Now, it's okay. Look, if you're in a situation like the Jacksonville Jaguars are in, where you have a lot of cap space, you have the draft capital, then I can understand you taking Trevor Lawrence there. just don't expect him to say,
Jackson.
just don't expect him to save the world.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're drafting him for, to basically save the world. He's going to be this great Hall of Fame, walk into the Hall of Fame dude. And that's what it seems like a lot of these people are looking for when you get to these draft picks. And it's ridiculous. So I want mutiny. I want a punter drafted in the first round. I want no quarterbacks drafted with the first 5 picks. I'm looking for a mess. Now, of course, we know what we're gonna get. Quarterbacks are going to go high, but I want mutiny. I want these draft experts and all these analysts to sit here and have to explain themselves when their mock drafts are just going to boo-boo on the way down to
And explain to me why they have a mock draft. This is what surprises me. Is like they have a mock draft 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
Like, here's the way too early mock draft for 2030. Let's get into it. What? Yeah. What? You don't even know who's playing. 2030? Dude, that's like 9 years down the road. Man. Okay, whatever.
You have those people who try to call themselves visionaries. So they said, so you know how they are. Oh, if I see this developing 6 years down the road, I can come back and call myself a genius because I picked just this off chance that boy from Montana who's 16 years old gets drafted when he's 22 years old. Number one.
or when they're sitting there and they're like, yo, remember the kid that was born on January 12th, 2021? Got him going to Fresno State, dog. Gonna be the top quarterback. And in 22 years, we'll have the conversation.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So mark it down, Charles. The kid that was born, I don't know his name yet, but the kid that was born January 12th, 2021 at 6:05 p.m. Yeah, that kid, bro, look out.
Fresno State quarterback.
Fresno State, dog, leading them to 3 championships, playing for Seattle. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it. Kurt Herbstreit, guess what? I just did what you did. But I'm going 22 years. What's up with that, Kurt?
How's that for some next level stats, huh?
How about that for some next level to the next level to the next level stats on that ass? On that button. Sorry. Kurt. My sources tell me this kid's going to be the bomb. What's up with that?
So
crazy, man.
Yeah, it's definitely come ridiculous with all the mock drafts, and you have 2.0 versions, 3.0 versions, 4.0 versions.
Because they didn't get it right the first time.
Yeah, right. And then of course when they come back with all these versions, they come back. Oh, well, I gotta update it. You know, it's an update. It's an update league. You gotta make sure everything's good.
Man. Wait, hold on. This kid ain't played a game in college yet.
Right.
He hasn't even played a game in Pop League yet.
Pee-wee football.
Pee-wee football. He has not played yet. Got to update because I heard he got a splinter in his finger when he was 2. Got to update that, dog. Cause yeah. And he got a little brother now, and his little brother I heard was even better than him. So update to the update.
So all right, well, let's get in to what we think about these overrated quarterbacks. Now, obviously, we do think they are overrated, but we know what's ultimately going to happen. They're going to be picked pretty high in the draft. So, with that said, Patrick, which quarterback, depending on how you may think the draft is going to go, So this isn't anything that we have seen from any draft, mock, or whatever. Just your personal opinion, how you feel the draft is going to go. What quarterback? And we'll go with these five: Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance, because those are the five that are being talked about so much. Based off of what you think is going to happen, which quarterback do you think will be set up for success better?
That's a good question. I'll tell you what. Give me a second because I got to see what the rounds are. Okay, so we got Jacksonville, New York, San Francisco, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami, Detroit, Carolina, and Denver, and then Dallas at 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Out of those five, truthfully, dude, looking at those top 10, none of them are set up for success. Not a damn one of them.
You don't think so? Yeah,
absolutely not. Jacksonville.
So you don't think? Oh, well, okay, take that back because. So I guess we'll get into it a little bit later, but where do you have the quarterbacks going? Let's put it that way. So we'll
go with the first 10. First 10 picks because obviously all five of them will go within the first 10. Okay, and I'm gonna go how I feel Atlanta should go, not how they probably will. Okay,
right. So just where do you think the quarterbacks will go? And that's why I said at first, based off of how you think the draft is going to go, which quarterback would be set up for success? Nothing set in stone.
They're probably going to take a quarterback.
Okay,
and that's if Garoppolo goes to New England, which is what is being talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if Garoppolo goes to New England, the first three are taken. That's going to be Trevor Lawrence is going to go to Jacksonville. The Jets will probably pick up. God, that's a hard pick because I'm thinking Bengals might pick up Justin Fields, or even Miami might pick up Justin Fields. Well, Miami got what's his face?
Tua.
So Miami probably is not going to take a quarterback
because Cincinnati has Burrow.
Huh?
Cincinnati has Burrow. You think they're going to take another quarterback?
I don't think Cincinnati's going to pick one either. So I think Detroit's probably going to pick one. Carolina has no choice but to pick one. And Denver's probably going to pick one. So you're looking at 6 teams out of the top 10 that's probably going to go with a quarterback. And there has to be a trade up for somebody like Carolina or Denver to get one of those top 5. But those first 3 are going to take somebody. So you're looking at, and then San Francisco could probably take Justin Fields. But I don't think that's a good fit for San Francisco. I don't think anybody is going to fit into that Jacksonville Jaguars position. So it doesn't matter who they take. I don't think they're going to get any success whatsoever. Jets, they suck. So nobody's willing to spend money on an offensive line there. So nobody's going to be set up for success there. I would say San Francisco, if they take, let's say San Francisco takes Justin Fields. That's probably going to be the most success that I can see in the top 10.
Yeah.
You can't take Mac Jones because Mac Jones, like you said in a webcast earlier, taking him is like putting Garoppolo back into the lineup. I mean, I feel is better than Garoppolo, but that has to have time to tell. So, I mean, but if I'm putting somebody in, I'm probably not putting in Mac Jones over Garoppolo right now. I would like to see some growth and then put him in. I would definitely put him in 2 years over Garoppolo. But San Francisco picking up Mac Jones. So if they're going to pick up somebody, it's probably going to be Justin Fields, and he'll go 3rd. And that is when I would probably see the most success because that offense is built for a scrambling quarterback. somebody that can run.
Yeah, well, all right. I'll say this. What about the San Francisco pick? With Kyle Shanahan, his offense is quarterback friendly. And he has worked with Robert Griffin III, had success with him. He's worked with Kirk Cousins, had success there. Worked with Matt Ryan, as you know, had success there. And he's had success with Jimmy Garoppolo. They just went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So that offense is quarterback friendly. And I've told multiple people, I said, hey, look, whoever does get drafted by the 49ers as a quarterback or whoever the quarterback is, I think they'll be fine, whoever it is. If they take Mac Jones, I think they'll be fine. But like you pointed out, yes, I don't think they would move up and give up that much draft capital to take something they kind of already have. And so, yeah, me personally, if you are going to take a quarterback, yeah, that would probably be Justin Fields for me, because I think he is the best combination of a scrambler. I think he is pretty accurate. Maybe not as accurate as Mac Jones. Mac Jones is probably the most accurate out of the quarterbacks because he's hitting these deep balls to those Alabama receivers when he was there on stride. He normally wasn't off point there.
And if they were, it's because they got bumped and got bumped off their route. It wasn't because Mac Jones wasn't putting it where it was supposed to. Mac Jones put those balls right where he was supposed to. And at the end of the season, the kid threw 73%, which is like the second highest I've ever seen, behind none other than Joe Burrows, who threw 81. So just saying.
So yeah, and I think with Jacksonville, if they, they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. I mean, we're pretty 99.99999% sure they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, depending on how that team is built around him, we said we got a new coach, got a new GM. They're bringing in, I forget how many draft picks they have. I want to say they have 10 draft picks in this draft. And then they did a little bit of work on free agency. I see Jacksonville improving. They should definitely be better than just the one win they got last year. And so,
they better be.
But I think Trevor Lawrence can be set up pretty good for success. That Jets situation, nobody's going to be successful there. Maybe they can build it up. We'll see. They definitely have enough draft picks themselves to build some things up, but I'm not expecting success right away. And if they're going to take Zach Wilson, me personally, I don't know how Zach Wilson just moved up so quickly. I don't know what he did to move up so quickly in the board. You mentioned the other teams. So Carolina just traded for Sam Darnold. So I think they won't draft a quarterback because since they traded for him, they might look to go another way. Probably offense because they went defense heavy in last year's draft. So I think they'll probably try to shore up they'll try to shore up the offensive line. Maybe get another weapon in there. They have a couple of good receivers, but they lost, I think it was Curtis Samuel, lost him to the Washington, the WTFs. So he went up there. They might try to upgrade that weaponry. Detroit, I don't know what they're doing. All I know is that they have a coach who says they're going to bite kneecaps. That's all I know about Detroit. I have no idea what they're trying to build. I don't know.
Are they drafting a bunch of midgets?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, all I know is that the head coach said they're going to be kneecap biters. I don't know.
Well, don't be surprised if a bunch of politically correct people just jump on our show and be like, "Why you should have called them midgets?" Because that's what I just called them.
Well, but that's what kneecap biters are mostly, right? Oh goodness, I don't care about censors at this point either. But
whatever, censor it. There's some else to censor too.
But yeah, so Yeah, whoever gets drafted by the 49ers, I do feel like they are better set up for success because the team is solid. You have a good defense in place, have a good running game in place, you have a solid offensive line. The main thing with the 49ers is they have to stay healthy. And if they can stay healthy, keep people off the shelf, and if they are going to get hurt, hopefully they're not missing the year or half of the season because that's what happened to a lot of our players last year. So uh, if they are able to stay healthy, that core that went to the Super Bowl is still in place. And you do have Kyle Shanahan calling plays. He will set those quarterbacks up for success, whichever ones they are. So I would say I don't know who's going to get drafted by them, but yeah, whoever gets drafted by them, definitely in the best situation right now to succeed.
I agree.
And so, with that, let's talk about our teams, our individual teams, Patrick, because we all, of course, want to know what our teams are going to do. And we are both into some very interesting spots when it comes to our teams and where they are drafting. So, of course, my team, as we've talked about, as we discussed, they are number 3. Your team, the Atlanta Falcons, they are number 4. So, you mentioned the Julio Jones proposed trade deals. Nothing has been thrown out there yet. At least I haven't seen anything.
But you noticed last week I called, or 2 weeks ago I called that, and now, just say
you said Matt Ryan needs to stop throwing the Julio Jones
get off
too
me,
much.
Kurt.
You said Matt Ryan has to stop throwing to Julio Jones too much because he forces the ball
And I
out.
said, but I also said if they were smart, they would trade him.
So you think that would be smart though?
Absolutely. Well, let's think about it. How often is he off the field? He's off the field more often than he is on it.
He is injured a lot, yes.
You get rid of him, you pull in Devonta Freeman. Dude, you just picked up Julio Jones at a cheaper rate.
Devonta Smith.
No, he ain't as good as Julio Jones. I take that back. But I will say this.
You said Devonta Freeman. You meant Devonta Smith.
I mean Devonta Smith. Yeah. Where did I get Freeman at?
He was a running back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He is. That's where I got it from. Okay. Yeah, you just got me all thrown off.
I'm sorry.
You got me all thrown off top. Okay. Draft Devonta Smith, and then we're good. I'm just saying. You trade Julio Jones, get those next year draft picks because you're not going to be able to get anything this year. Because you'd really want, if you're going to trade Julio Jones, you're going to want to get draft picks plus get rid of some of that salary cap that he holds, and there'd be no way they'll get rid of that salary cap at such a short notice on a draft. So,
all right, and so with the Falcons, and I forgive me if I missed it earlier. What do you think they're going to do in the draft? A lot of options the Falcons could go.
There's a lot of options. But if I was a betting man, and I am, I think they're probably going to pick somebody on the defense.
Looking at Tane?
Probably.
At the corner?
If they have an option to get him.
You know, Patrick, honestly, I mean,
it's not a bad pick.
That's what I think the Falcons should do if they keep it. If they keep the number 4 pick, yes, I think that should be a defensive pick. I've heard they might draft Trey Lance. I've heard they might draft Kyle Pitts. But no one's really talking about them getting a defensive player, and that's the Falcons' weakness. They need to upgrade that defense big time. And then my team, Patrick, hey, I want to draft Kyle Pitts. I so want to draft Kyle Pitts because we don't
need a pickup for y'all though.
Yeah, exactly. You see, and here's the thing: we don't necessarily need the quarterback. I feel like they are going to draft a quarterback. I mean, that's the thinking in the league. Oh, well, you don't move up that far if you're not going to take a quarterback. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. I think it will be Justin Fields. A lot of reports out there says it's between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. We'll see. But you got Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G is solid. I think what the 49ers are kind of tired of, without actually saying the words they're tired of it, is Jimmy Garoppolo's lack of availability. That's what it comes down to. He has missed big parts of the last 3 years. It's just crazy because the year he was actually healthy, they went to the Super Bowl. So and so you want that consistency in there, I guess, if you're trying to make consistent runs at a title. And I guess this is what they're looking at when they go and they're trying to decide what direction they want to go in with the quarterback. I think Garoppolo has it's somewhere in the ballpark of $20 to $25 million as far as of a cap hit this year. And then there's a possibility, like you said, he could get traded. It makes sense for him to get traded to New England, just simply because of the link that's there with him and being in New England. Personally, I would keep him and I'd let it ride. And Kyle Pitts come to the team because 49ers need a big receiver. You have a guy who can actually play receiver in a tight end's body. And if you put him in a 2 tight end system with George Kittle, that is going to be hell to deal with for a lot of teams. And so that's
as long as Garoppolo stays healthy.
Yep, as long as he stays healthy, of course.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, even if you pick up Kyle Pitts and backup quarterback, I mean, dude, all that you have as far as weapons on offense, I think it'd be fine. I mean, I really do. I think San Francisco would be fine even if Garoppolo went down. Now, if Pitts goes down and you start seeing what happened last year, then it is what it is. You know? But I mean, my personal opinion, I think if they were smart, they would pick up. Hold on, my phone's trying to talk to me again. I think San Francisco should pick up Kyle Pitts. I agree with you there, and I hope Atlanta picks up Swell. Or
yeah, Penei School.
Yeah.
Yep, the lineman out of Oregon. Yeah, you know what? That wouldn't be bad either because you can always use some extra protection for Matt Ryan. Man, I would go defense though, man, because the Falcons have to upgrade if they're going to keep the pick.
That's if they keep the pick. But I mean,
because I don't think offense is a problem for the Falcons.
Never is, but the problem is, I mean, well, last year they averaged 36 points a game. That should win, but they gave up 42, so that loses.
Defense, stop somebody. Stop somebody,
please. I mean, like even when the game tackled, nobody tackled. You know, you got 4 people around the ball. Did you see that one play where everybody, like, he fumbled it and they got 4 people looking at it, and the guy comes out of nowhere, takes over them like. we dropped the ball on that one, literally. Come on, man. No, I do agree with you, but I mean, it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad pickup for Atlanta. I mean, and then go defensive heavy for the rest. My personal opinion, like I told you, I try to settle something, get Julio Jones off the roster, maybe even get some of that cap space, go Devonta Freeman, and then defense for the rest.
Devonta Smith, Patrick Smith.
Did I say Freeman again?
Yes.
Dude, I'm not with it right now. Devonta Smith, then pick up Devonta Smith, and then go defense for the rest of the draft.
All right. And
because you could pick up some good defense off of a trade with Julio Jones. People be like, yeah.
yes, and that would definitely command a couple of picks too. And I think that's what the Falcons ultimately need. If they are not going to get rid of the pick, go ahead and get you more picks. Trade down, and there are plenty of people, because of the whole thing with the quarterbacks that we just discussed, who are be more than willing to move up to 4 and try to get one of these quarterbacks. So. I mean, I think either way, both of these teams, my team and your team, they're sitting in a pretty good spot. Just depend on how they work it, and then we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season as we get ready for. Well, I don't even know if they're going to do training camps. I don't know, but
you know what they should do?
What?
Just throwing this out there, it'd be crazy. I would try it if I was like the general manager. I'd be like, Julio Jones and the 4th pick. What are you going to give me? Figure it out. Figure it out. Because I want next year, I want the top 5 picks.
Yeah, how am I going to do that?
Julio Jones and the 4th pick this year? I'd be like, I want the next 5. I want the first 5 picks first round next year. Here's Julio Jones and the 4th pick this year. Who's willing to make it rain?
I guess depending on the team, I mean, the only teams that I would see with that type of capital would be someone like the Dolphins and the Jets, because they have the picks to do it. So I could see them. Maybe those are the only two. And the Jets, just because the Jets don't know what they're doing. I think to me personally, they're the modern day Philadelphia 76ers. Just going to go ahead and we're going to stockpile draft picks, and then we'll figure out what to do with them later, because we don't know now. So
and even later, we still don't know.
Better, you know what? Better yet, the modern day Oklahoma City Thunder. They have 34 picks, I think, in the next 2 or 3 years. Like, it's something stupid. Something dumb like that, man. They have loaded up. I mean, quick little basketball thing, but the OKC Thunder has loaded up on picks, dude. Loaded up. Picks for 3. Yeah, they have. So they have, I think, 34 picks. 34 picks in the next few years. I don't remember the exact number of years, but they have loaded up on picks. That ridiculously. But real quick, Patrick, and one more thing about the draft. I know I might know where you're going with this one, but who do you think is the most underrated player in the draft?
Waddle being one of them. I know he was injured in that last season, didn't get to do much, but Waddle.
Gotcha.
I think he's one of them. Another one would be let's see here. I just pulled up the thing so I could see. There was another one. Who do you think? While I'm looking up this guy, because there's one more guy that I was thinking as well, and I don't see his name.
Me is Devonta Smith.
Oh,
hands down.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely is an underrated, but I don't think he's as underrated as many people will say, because he will go. I think he will. Personally, I think he goes top 5. I think Waddle will stay on probably until the late of the first round, and I don't know why, because that kid is good. And I think another one that is underrated would be J.C. Horn from South Carolina.
Oh, the corner, yeah.
I think he's very underrated. They got him going. He's 14th right now, as on this best available thing. But I think that kid is. I think he's good. I watched him play being in the SEC. I watched him play every week, and that kid is good.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, and I think he'll go late first round, early second, but I think he's definitely a top 10.
Yeah. I could totally see where you're coming from with that one. I don't think he's getting enough pub. I think the corner out of Virginia Tech, he's pretty good too. Worley, I think his name is. Caleb Worley, I think his name is. I think he's pretty good as well. And
oh, you're talking about Caleb
Barley. There we go. Thanks, Patrick. Yes. Yeah, I think he's pretty good there. I like how he comes up and tackles. The cover skills are pretty good. Yeah, cover skills are pretty good too, but I just like his physicality at that line of scrimmage, coming up there and tackling.
Mm-hmm. But you never really give cushion. Never.
Yeah.
He's always like on the line. He's always trying to push off the routes. Does a really good job with it. And as soon as those 5 yards is up, he drops his hands and he's literally just running with them. And he's fast too, man. It's like 4.3, I think, was his time.
Yeah, he got some range on him. You know, he got some weight to him too. I mean, he's a good size. Like he's just got a good solid build to him to play corner in the league. So I see a lot of good things coming out of him. Whoever gets him, I think they're probably getting a steal. But yeah, for me, Patrick, it is Devonta Smith because I mean, I think you and I, we both said we feel like he's the best player in the draft, and so
hands down, the best player. Like there's not another player that's as good as that kid. And coming from where he came from, I mean, you remember last year when I think he weighed like 140. And then this year he gained 40 pounds and it wasn't like fat. He was like solid muscle. And he's not getting any taller. So he filled out and he was a solid kid and he has that explosive play, man. It doesn't matter. He is so dangerous even without the ball. It is crazy. Like we talk about this in basketball. One of the biggest things in basketball, if you can be dangerous without the ball, that makes that team really dangerous, right? Devonta Smith, you put 2 on him even if the ball's not even coming to him. You put 2 on that man every single time on every single play. And that's what Ohio State tried to do. But they just came up with so many ways to give that kid the ball, and he made them pay. I mean, when you put up stats of 3 touchdowns with 268 passing yards in the first half, that's what people put up in a game. Then he got injured, and I'm like, God, can you imagine? That game would have been a runaway if he was still on that field.
Yeah, more so than it already was. I mean,
that would have probably been 110.
Well,
what did Devonta Smith put up? 9 touchdowns, 760 passing yards or receiving yards, 9 touchdowns, and had 175 rushing. He was ridiculous that game.
Well, who do you think is the biggest bust, or who you think might be the biggest bust?
As far as teams, or as far as people being picked?
Yeah, these people being picked. Who's being overrated?
Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. I think that's going to be your biggest bust.
All right. For me, it's Zach Wilson.
Well, he's third.
He's first.
Trevor Lawrence is my number 1.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's my number 1. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be pretty good. I'm not going to give him walk into the Hall of Fame worthy because that's what the rest of these people want to put him in there. But I think Trevor Lawrence will be fine. I do. Obviously, Jacksonville has to do a good job of building a team around him, but I think Trevor Lawrence will be fine. Why? But tell me this, Patrick. Why do you think Trevor Lawrence will be the biggest bust, though? The biggest bust? Why?
Well, biggest reason why is because he's never faced adversity, and when he does, he fails big time. Ohio State.
Okay, that's one. What
It's
other?
the only time he ever faced adversity. Really, he was handed a team. He was handed a team that was hands down one of the best teams in the nation when he played.
What's so different? Okay, so if you're gonna say that, Patrick, what's so different about Mac Jones then?
Well, he's probably high on my list too. Because well, this is what I say about Mac Jones. I like his play, but truthfully, there's not really Alabama quarterbacks that make it past the first year.
So about that.
So I mean, I like the way he plays, and I'm rooting for the kid. I'm always rooting for him, but he's probably fourth or fifth on my list of bust.
So I say, all right, the whole thing with the Alabama quarterbacks, and then we can move off the draft for a little bit. Biggest thing with the Alabama quarterback thing that you had mentioned, I had mentioned that to Bear, and we went down the list, and I think we went down the list last week or the last webcast we did a couple of weeks ago too. We know every case is different with the Bama quarterbacks or with quarterbacks altogether. Because if you want to go there, hey, Ohio State quarterbacks have kind of busted too. So I mean, which is something that Bear had pointed out to me, and I said, "Yep, this is true. Well, Ohio State quarterbacks haven't been that good either." And I think we have to be willing as people, if we're going to go on here, we're going to have these discussions, we're going to have these debates or whatever you want to call them. We have to be willing to look at all things considered. A lot of people, of course, want to just paint one side of the picture and say, well, hey, Ohio State quarterbacks have busted. Well, hey, Alabama quarterbacks have busted too. So
Georgia quarterbacks busted. Minus Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't remember. I think Colt McCoy was the last quarterback we had come into the league.
Lasted what, 3 years?
Yeah.
Done. I mean, Georgia had Matthew Stafford. We had DJ Shockley.
Mm-hmm.
There was one more, but DJ Shockley lasted 2 years and then he was done. Who was the other one? Aaron Murray.
Mm-hmm.
What year?
Yeah, he's an analyst now.
Yep. And now he's an analyst. But Matthew Stafford was hands down is probably one of the best quarterbacks that ever came out of Georgia. But no, Georgia quarterbacks minus Matthew Stafford, bust. Alabama quarterbacks, bust. Ohio State quarterbacks, bust. Oregon quarterbacks, bust. I mean, if you really want a quarterback, go to like some team that's out of the top 25. There's your team right there. There's your quarterback. You go to 299 and you pick someone down there.
Yeah, the thing is where those quarterbacks. What I keep on hearing about Mac Jones in particular is, well, he's pro ready. He played in Nick Saban's system. It's as close to a pro system as you're going to get. I say, okay, well, number one, okay, Trevor Lawrence kind of did the same thing because Clemson, they're pretty. They have some talent up there too, and number two, like you mentioned with all those quarterbacks. Yeah, they didn't play under Nick Saban's system either. They didn't win national championships there either. I mean, that's what I mean by looking at both sides of the equation as well. If you're going to say this dude is ready because he played in a pro system, you can't ignore him being the first one to play in this system and people thinking he may bust. That's part of the equation. You can't ignore that. And people want to say, "Oh no, well that doesn't matter." In a way, because yes, Mac Jones could be the anomaly. Mac Jones could be the guy who has a solid NFL career and puts up a lot of numbers. We don't know. As a matter of fact, you still have two Alabama quarterbacks where the jury is still out on them. Tua, jury's still out. Jalen Hurts, jury's still out with him in Philly. So every case is different. but you can't ignore history. That's the thing. Let's look at the big picture. And if we're going to have these debates, be willing to look at the big picture.
Yeah.
Not just
And
one side.
Also understand that out of all of that, there is only 32 positions. That's it. And most of those are already taken up because you got Aaron Rodgers not giving up his position, Tom Brady not giving up that position, Matt Ryan is probably not going to give up that position. So, and you move down that list and you really look how many really true positions are there left? And I just named 3. That's not counting Jimmy Garoppolo probably going to go to New England and start if that doesn't work out in San Francisco. But Jimmy Garoppolo is probably going to be a starter. What's his name? Russell Wilson. That's probably going to be a starter. So you went from 32 now to 27, and there's many more that I haven't mentioned. But we all know that there's really only like 6 teams that really needs a quarterback. 5 teams, 7 teams, something like that. And Dolphins, they're probably not going to get one.
In theory, yes, but the thing is, you know these teams for whatever reason are quarterback drunk, and so they are always trying to find an upgrade for it instead of just being patient. Because think about it, I'll name this: the Raiders with Derek Carr. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. I think Derek Carr is good. Is he elite? No, he's not elite, but I think he is more than capable of being a piece of a championship team, potential championship team. Some other things got to get put around him, of course. But I mean, people are throwing him out here in trade talks. But why? And like you said, who out there is better? Mm-hmm. If you decide that you're going to get rid of Derek Carr, same thing that you said about Matt Ryan. If you decide you're going to get rid of these guys, who are you replacing them with?
Yeah, and for me, I can't trade Matt Ryan right now. Do I want to? I would like to, but I'm going to need somebody that's going to step in that place that's going to be an upgrade. And Mac Jones is not that upgrade. Justin Fields is not that upgrade. Trevor Lawrence is not that upgrade. Zach Wilson is not that upgrade. I'm looking like if I'm going to make that upgrade, it has to be of caliber. I'm not saying this guy. I'm of caliber. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, somebody that has been there and that has won. I need somebody that's going to give me an upgrade. I'm not looking to move the needle 500 points. No, I'm looking to move the needle in an upward direction. And that's what I'd be looking for if I'm replacing Matt Ryan. Problem is that those people are not on the market. So I'm going to stick with Matt Ryan. I'm not going to get another quarterback. I'm not drafting, I know I said this a couple of webcasts ago that if I'm going to draft one, I'm taking Mac Jones. Do I think he's a bust? Yes. But if I'm taking one, that's where I want to go. But I'm not taking a quarterback. I'm taking Devonta Smith regardless. And if he is available on the board, come pick 4, that's my pick. And I'm trading Julio Jones. That's what I would do.
All right. Yeah, I think when it comes to just the evaluation of these players and quarterbacks and whether or not they're going to bust. I mean, look, we could talk about the player all day, but it's the ultimate team sport. Mm-hmm. The team and the situation has to be right if these players are going to succeed. And I'm going to use Patrick Mahomes as an example because, and I know people are gonna get on me for this when I say what I'm gonna say here. Patrick Mahomes would not be as good if he didn't land in Kansas City. Just that simple. He would not have been. We knew he had raw talent. We knew he had a strong arm. But him coming into that situation in Kansas City where you already had weapons in place, where you already had Andy Reid as the head coach, where you already had a great offensive coordinator and Eric Bieniemy there, it was the perfect situation for him to come in there. So now Patrick Mahomes can come in and add his abilities to it. Now you got a team that can win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
But Patrick
Until
Mahomes,
you run up against Tampa Bay, and then.
but even Patrick Mahomes is not going to win a championship by himself. And like you just mentioned, that got proven in the Super Bowl. You need teams. You need a line. You need other people. You need a defense because Kansas City defense got ran over that day. And so you need.
Well, not only that, but their offensive line couldn't hold 4 people.
Yeah, they couldn't protect. And so you got to be able.
On the line couldn't hold 4 people.
Yeah, and so you got to be able to have that all those foundational pieces in place. And if you don't, then this is where you can get a bust situation with these quarterbacks. So where you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, we'll see how they build. We'll see what they do with the Jets, if they're going to take Zach Wilson, whatever. 49ers, as we said, they're in a good situation because the team's pretty much already in place. So whatever quarterback gets in there could be pretty successful right off the bat. And then we'll see about the other 2. But it'll be interesting. And, we'll be watching on Thursday to see where it ends up. Well, Patrick.
I wouldn't take Mac Jones. I lied. I would take Zach Smith.
Zach Smith. Zach Wilson?
No, Zach Smith.
Who's Zach Smith?
I don't know. He's in the draft somewhere. Probably 6th round. That's who I would take. There's your diamond in the rough. I'm telling you.
That's your diamond of the rough or your bust?
That's your diamond in the rough. It's not your bust.
What position does Zach Smith play?
He's quarterback.
Okay. Out of where?
I don't know. Let me find out.
Okay. Well, while you looking at that, then let's bring up the MVP race in the NBA real quick. So it's starting to heat up based off of what Steph Curry was doing for the last week and a half or so, having a stretch of 11 straight games with 30 points. He had a 53-point game in that stretch and 4 40-point games. So now all of a sudden he's looking at that MVP consideration. MVP talk has come up. Now, look, me personally, love Steph Curry. Knows what he was doing. Phenomenal streak he went on. Patrick, he's not the MVP of the league. Sorry, no. The Warriors are in 9th, dude. They're in 9th in the West. You can't. No. Sorry, no. We can't let a 10-game stretch or an 11-game stretch erase the whole season. No.
Hey, so back on that for just 1 second. He plays for Southeast Missouri State Redhawks.
Oh, yeah, that's random as hell. That is random.
Hey, there's your diamond in the rough.
That's random as hell.
That was about the longest college name I've ever seen in my life. I was like, did they write a book just to make the name of their Southeast Missouri State Redhawks?
That's random. So, Patrick,
I think it's a Division 6 college. Has to be.
Patrick, who's your MVP of the league? Sack.
Yes, man. Who else?
Random as hell.
God, honestly, I mean, truthfully, I haven't really watched a lot of basketball. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know who I would take as an MVP in the NBA right now.
You know what, Patrick? That's okay, because I was kind of expecting that answer, and honestly, there's a lot of people who have that same answer, and so because this is what you have. You have Nikola Jokic, center for the Denver Nuggets, who is the favorite, I would say, right now, but the Nuggets are 4th in the West. Joel Embiid missed too many games. He's missed a lot of games with injury. Chris Paul could get some votes to me because he's on Phoenix. Phoenix is second in the West, and they were nowhere near second a year ago.
No, I think they were more close to like where the Rockets and Timberwolves would be right now.
Right. But Chris Paul coming on
already found elimination.
Chris Paul has come to that team via trade and has changed the mindset of them and got them playing some pretty good ball. The floor general got them playing some pretty good ball, so I can see him getting some votes. The Curry thing, I know people were gonna try to put him up there, but nobody really knows. Because look, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's having a very good year for Milwaukee, but nobody really thinks you're gonna give him the MVP 3 years in a row. So,
why not?
I mean, to me, yeah. Look, I feel that way too, but I don't know, for whatever reason, people are just they can't do it. Can't do it. They feel like it's taboo if a guy wins the MVP that many times. Look, if the man's having a good season, It's not a lifetime achievement award. It is an annual award. What are you doing this season? That's all that matters with these awards. But everybody, I think they try to look at it as some sort of let's just give it to him because he's been good for his career. So what that got to do with this year? Makes no sense. So, hey, your answer, Patrick, very good answer. Not normal that I would say I don't know is a good answer, but yeah, that's kind of the way to go with it. So, I mean, I guess if I had to pick, I would say Jokic will probably win it if everything continues because he has the stats and he's been there every game. He's durable. And for people who have missed games and people, let's say, hey, Steph Curry, great stretch, but the Warriors are ninth. They're ninth in the conference. Sorry. His stats really ain't making that much impact. Just aren't. It's bad. They're not.
I mean, if you're 10th, there's really nothing to really say.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just put it in perspective. My Atlanta Hawks are 5th. And they have a better
Trae Young can get some votes.
Huh?
Trae Young can get some votes.
No.
Okay. I tried.
No.
I tried.
I mean, look. Am I gonna tell you I'm impressed with Trae Young? Absolutely. Never thought that kid was going to do what he has done in the NBA, especially playing in Oklahoma in the way he sucked. I mean, literally, he was not that good of a player. He was
overrated, is what I'll say.
Very overrated.
I think he was okay, but people were just putting him out here like he was going to be the next Steph Curry, and I'm like, come on, y'all, slow down, please.
Yeah. Now, did he impress me? Yes. And it's very rare somebody impresses me like he has. Because you play for a team that is that bad and you do that good, that says something. I mean, it just says something. So, I'm impressed with the kid. But no, no. I mean, Atlanta will still be 34-28 with or without him.
Well, hey, Patrick, we have a couple of minutes left. So I wanted to get into the soccer topic real quick and then just give you a quick little point. So here's what happened. You had 12 teams over there in Europe. And over here in the States, not a big deal. Because I mean, we don't really worry about soccer over here. But the rest of the world, soccer's a huge deal. Most popular sport by far in the world. And what was happening over in Europe was 12 of the most valuable franchises over there were trying to create a super league. So basically they're like, we don't want to play the little people. We just want to play these people. We want to play each other because the most money is being brought on with us. So you had 6 teams from the English Premier League, 3 teams from La Liga, which is the Spanish league, and 3 teams from Serie A, which is the Italian league. And those 12 teams are going to make a super league. Basically saying, well, we're not going to play the little people, man. We're trying to get this money. and the fans were hot. The fans started boycotting, protesting, and everything. And that league died before it even started. So, so now, look, here's the thing. I think here's the lesson. If you are in one of these leagues over here in the States, hey, man, look, I know money is money and you're trying to sit there and make the money. But now you're to the point where you're trying to cut out other teams, yo.
Which is still 70% of the league.
Yeah.
You're trying to cut out. You only make up 25 to 30% of that league. That's it. And you're trying to cut out 70% of it? No. People are not going to have that.
So I thought that was interesting, man. That's crazy.
That's like the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees going, we're never going to play anybody else but each other.
Yeah.
162 games between us two. You know what everybody else is going to say? Bye.
Yeah.
Get out. Who cares? But that's over here. Over there, that's not going to happen. There's too much money because you're cutting out 70% of the league. Yeah, absolutely. All those people are going to be like, you're not cutting me out of money. Yeah, y'all make 80% of it. Okay, granted. But you're not taking mine. So,
yeah.
Riot. You're not taking mine. It's not going to happen. So now everybody riots. I mean, look, they tried it. I give them credit. But that's all I'm getting them.
You know, it's funny, though. You know, it's funny, though. All those owners, they're all like, oh, man, look, I apologize. What you apologizing for? You weren't sorry when you was trying to make this league. If this bad boy worked, you ain't worried about no apology.
You ain't worried about no apology. You would have been like, bye.
Bye. I'm gonna count my money. I'm gonna count my money over here. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what you said? I couldn't hear it because all the thousands I'm making. Yeah. No, it didn't happen. Now he's like,
my bad.
Sorry.
Garbage, man. It's garbage. Garbage. Oh,
what can I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's so garbage. It's so trash.
And then you just look at him going,
Dookie look. Yes. Yeah. Dookie look. Oh my gosh. So yeah, man, I wanted to get that in there before we wrapped up, man. So well, that will do it for this. And we'll call it extended version of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you go to the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and keep the lights coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Leave comments, feedback, all that good stuff. Good, bad, or indifferent, we will respond. So, Patrick, do you have a shorty coming up this weekend? I know you've been kind of busy. So,
not this week.
Okay, cool. So
I will be back on it.
Okay. So I will get the shorty out there later on this week. Let me think of a topic and then I will post it. Other than that, everybody take care. Have a good rest of the week and stay with us because good things are coming.